Hello, everybody. Just want to do a quick recap of day three of Funnel Hacking Live. It has been amazing. I think mostly it has been more of a mindset shift rather than a lot of the content has been amazing too. But I think overall takeaway for me is a couple of things. One is most of us are not thinking big enough, and second is mostly just doing it, right? Like I know I have way too many degrees and a lot of courses, and kind of dragging my feet for the last 2 years on exactly what needs to happen for the taking my career to the next level. Having the comfort of a job has always been my fallback option, but if you really want to make a difference, go ahead and jump in and do it. You don't have to be perfect. You can learn along the way, and based on that has been at least my takeaway from this whole meeting. Day three was very good. Myron Golden started off the day, and I've always enjoyed his presentations or teaching. He talked a little bit about persuasion mastery, and one of the things that there's a lot of information, so I'm just gonna get to the best part of what I thought it was. So one of the things he talked about was collapsing time frames. I think as the older you get, or the more you move up your career, you'll understand money is replaceable, time is not, right? So, and a lot of people are just replacing time with money as far as then it just, even as an entrepreneur, then it's just really a job. So he wants us to focus on how to learn the increased speed of revenue generation, and then he shifted that focus and onto income producing assets. He said it's easier to make lots of money in short period of time versus a little money over a long time. And always make up and leverage what you lack in skill. So he really, I think it touched home with me, and especially the collapsing of time frames has been something that it just made sense to me after the conversation. I've been thinking about it. So wealth has a need for speed. There needs to be a sense of urgency, and a couple of other big takeaways. So people love to buy and they'll have to be sold. People love to be persuaded. The persuasion is basically helping people make a decision that they've already decided. They hate to be convinced, but people like to be persuaded. So also moving up from a commodity market to a premium value market, and I think that's where the lapsing of time frames and making wealth in urgency comes in. A lot of us play in the commodity market, and his feedback was move up the value chain, basically, right? Move the value chain, play the game with a sense of urgency, and also that'll help you collapse your time frame. And instead of just a one-on-one time to money exchange, how can you multiply it? And I think those are the key takeaways from Myron's. There was a lot, but those are the most important ones. Jim Edwards was next. He's the owner, or he did funnel scripts. So he talked about stories, or what make people emotional, and then when you're emotional you can sell them. So he had like a 4-part storytelling script. There's a lead, there's a flow, there's a moral, and then there's a transition. So he talked through the concepts of that, and used his backstory about his son and his grandson, and why it is good to give, and how it saved their lives and saved his family. So basically, I think the concept is people just assume wealth means just more money. His perspective on his true wealth is basically being able to protect and heal who can't. So his feedback was just like a unicorn. So he said, become a rich unicorn is the way he wrapped it up. A lot of his frameworks are available, but I think it was what my takeaway more was along the mindset of people not thinking about wealth the right way, and how you being wealthy could help the world, just being able to give back to the cause that you care about, right? So Yara Golden, as usual, she was very good. So she had a couple of questions. It says, is email really dead, or is your relationship with your customers dead, right? So the point she was trying to make is people will still read an email if it comes from somebody who they care about. You will always open email from a family member or somebody you care about, right? So email really is not dead, but that not just email, any form of communication with your customers only works if you have a relationship with them, right? So she talked through various types of character that show up in your inbox. The pickup artist who just cares for him, the player who comes on strong but he's not around if you don't give him what you want. Mr. Nice Guy provides a lot of value but never makes an offer, right? So she said the best person to come into, and again she gave us a whole framework, and I took a lot of pictures of the slides, but the takeaway was you need to be somebody who's relationship material, who comes in, takes care of the needs, and also makes the offers when it's appropriate, but you're nurturing the relationship. So you don't just sell one thing and then you don't contact your customers until you have a new course, a new product, and that's the only time you kind of ping them. So stay in touch always and build a relationship, and I think once you do that, you can't really fail, right? So that's her talk was, how can you make every email, every text you send relevant to your customers? If they have a relationship with you, they will open it, right? And the next person was Brendan Burchard. Oh my God, he has so much energy when he came on the stage and started dancing and jumping around and kind of hyping the crowd. I think he's also going to be talking today in about 30 minutes. So that's why I'm trying to wrap this a little bit faster than normal. So he talked about the 7-day live launch. So he talked to the plan on day one. You basically select a flagship product to sell or your main product, and then you go for live for 3 days, teaching something related to it. But then you have these filmed live that you can use to package for later, and offer the audience the filmed product on day 5, free with the flagship product purchase. So day 1 you announce your training, day 2, 3, and 4 you are teaching something, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever number of minutes it takes for you to get that, and then you download and you make it a product. So if they buy your main product, then you give this away for free, and then you offer that as your bundle on day 5. Day 6 and 7, there's a 48-hour deadline for people to buy your product. So there's some of the key takeaways from this. You pre-announce the agenda so people know exactly what they're going to get day 2, 3, and 4 from the training. Incentivize the conversation in the chat room when you're doing your live training. Agenda is everything. Make sure you use the keywords that resonate with your audience. Make your offer. And he talked through some of the numbers. A low tier offer is anything less than 300, mid tier is 300 to 800, and high is 800 and over. So that's the 7-day launch strategy. Give them the product that they saw you creating, bundle and sell it. A video, podcast, and ads all can be used from the same content that you've already created. So then it was Julie Stone talked about funnel agency secrets nets. She went through her background on backstory, and she had made 25k in 2014, 79k in 2015, and 2016 is when she jumped up to 325k, and last year I think she made 2.1 million. But what she focused on was, what did she do in 2016 that made her jump from the 80k to 325k. She went through 3 frameworks, I should say, and how she got there through. She had like a marketing, people, and capital columns, and talked about the power of service. How do you do a business incentive? How do you use Facebook to get your agency booked? She had information about proposal secrets. So it was very informative, and it was very practical advice that she gave you. How do you whether you don't do it now as create an agency, if you create a business, at some point you need a marketing team, and that translates to be an agency. and she talked through how do you find the right people and the money. And it's a great tool for somebody who's just starting out to make money, make the proposal, make the offer, and make enough money to invest in whatever product service you're trying to do. So she highly encouraged everybody to think about the business. It's going to eventually have some kind of marketing agency or funnel agency in it. You might tell her just move along the path right now and create some short-term cash flow to help you with whatever product you're trying to sell. So she had a lot of good slides. She went through a lot of content, so I had to take pictures rather than be able to write down. So if anybody's interested, I'd love to talk to them about it. And she also talked through about her old funnel, how you opt in for discovery, then you sell one thing, and then it's a hybrid service, and then there's a funnel for it, and then there's a nurturing sequence for it, and how does your offer solve a real problem? That's really the gist of it. And then we had the Tukama and basically all of the award show for a couple of hours. It was crazy to see how many people have made it into the I think it's like 241 people who made it into the $1 million club. Basically, they've sold $1 million in a funnel. It's still a small number compared to the number of active ClickFunnels users, but it's still good to see the number growing, right? So then the last part of the day was Russell Brunson and his inner circle team coming up and talking through about 8 secrets of what is it going to take you to get to the 2 club. The first one was changing your belief. So you basically you need to change your belief to be able to match a successful and model other people who are successful, instead of you trying to change the world to meet to you. If you have somebody you admire and you follow, how do you match your model to successfully mimic them? At least follow them, right? Then Myron talked about the second secret is forgiveness. I don't think it's Myron, sorry. Somebody else talked about it. Don't let your past sabotage your future. It was a very heartwarming story about how he fought cancer and how he needed to forgive people in his life because he was carrying the stress and he's holding him back. Once he forgave people, he was able to move forward with his own business. He didn't say they still made a mistake, but you carrying that is basically like you drinking poison trying to hurt somebody else. I think that those words resonated with me. Is if you have somebody who's you're angry at, forgive them and move on with your life. Whatever happens to them is on them after that, but you don't need to be carrying that burden. So, and the third conversation was around the identity shift. You have to change your identity. You have to make sure if you're a funnel hacker, that's your identity going forward. I'm a funnel hacker. If you're a restaurateur, that's your identity. You can be kind of doodling in between. Change your identity and focus on where you need to take your business. And if that's your identity, go all in, right? Myron talked about covenant. So it's changing your belief, forgiveness, identity shift, and covenant. Basically, some of the things that he said was that resonated with me was stop breaking your word to yourself. A lot of us have milestones and goals and promises we make to ourselves, and we don't do it. So what happens is we start trusting ourselves even lesser every time that happens. So he said sometimes you just have to make a covenant to yourself that this is what you're going to do, and you do whatever it takes for you to get there, right? So I think that was powerful for me. And then the next one was power of community, your tribe. And I think this one also resonated with me because your left hand is your tribe, your power, your community, and the right hand is your friends and family. Your friends and family usually don't know what you're talking about when it comes to funnels and being an entrepreneur. And I think a lot of people, this causes some stress within the family, friends. You're like, oh, you don't understand me. So either they feel like their family is moving away from them, or they distance themselves from the family just because you don't understand me, you're not being supportive. But not everybody's an entrepreneur, not everybody is a funnel hacker, not everybody has the same frame set. framework in mind. So don't expect them to understand you. Lead by example, and when they're ready, they'll reach out to you, right? So look at the time in that people you spend in your life. You need both your left hand and your right hand. Your left hand is your community, again the right hand is your friends and family. And she said make sure you have for every family friend you have at least 5 of your tribe people, because you need the energy from your tribe to be able to kind of give it to I won't say deal with your family, but be able to have the energy to be able to explain things to your family and friends. So I think that was great. All your relationship can flourish, but you need to have a framework for making it happen. So that was the community. Understanding wealth was the next one. 7th was just-in-time learning. 8th was waffle. So understanding wealth is what is money? Let's understand money. Money is the value. Wealth is created through the exchange of transaction happening because value is created on both sides. So there's a lot of examples people use. So when do you give you $1 to for getting a bottle of water, let's say? That you don't think the bottle of water is the same as your dollar. You value the water more than the dollar when you exchange it, and whoever's selling it values the dollar more than the water, and that's why they're giving up on the whole making the exchange happen. So the whole point is, how do you offer enough value for an exchange to happen? And that's how wealth is created, right? So, and then just-in-time learning. Stephen talked about reduce the noise in your head, stop being a CEO before an entrepreneur, declare your goals publicly, focus on just one piece at a time. And that was the 7th one, which was just-in-time learning. The waffle is basically how do you create your dream team, which is the last one. You need somebody to be a strategy expert. You need a project manager, product developer, funnel design, builder, designers, copywriters, video editors, traffic. Now he said we put some numbers on a project, so you can learn all of this, but it'll take you like 7 years. He was running through some math. This was Russell talking about it. But building your dream team for a project might cost you approximately, let's say, $7,000. Do you really want to save $7,000 and to take this project? 7 years might be exaggerating, but still a long time for you to complete, and I can attest to that. Or do you pay the money so that you move forward rather than being in a loop of procrastination? So that was very good. It gives some clarity on exactly how do you move forward with your dream team. And this is what we're talking about, secrets of the 2 Club. So it's very good content. I got to run to the next the day 4, last day. I think I'll do this live on Sunday to recap day 4 and everything else I've learned, kind of lessons I learned from the 4 days I've been here. So it's been great. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and look forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye.